What's up, guys? Welcome to Bipolar Boxing. Saturday night, we got Keyshawn Davis defending his WBO lightweight title against Edwin de los Santos. It's in Keyshawn Davis's hometown. I don't know why De Los Santos is getting another title shot after that last performance. People could say what they want about Shakur Stevenson. The guy won the fight. He won the fight convincingly. He doesn't have to do any more than that. Like when you get up to a certain level, all you got to do is win fights. That's all he's got to do is win. That's all he did was win. And if you think Shakur Stevenson was boring and he won very convincingly, then how boring was his opponent? That's just what I keep saying about all these guys that, people say, oh, he's a boring fighter. He runs and stuff like that. He's not running. He's winning the fight. Like if De Los Santos wants to make the fight more exciting, try opening up a little more. And instead of just, surviving for 12 rounds, maybe go out there and try and knock somebody out or get knocked out yourself. If that's what you want, like, because he would have just got knocked out by Shakur if that was the case. But he didn't. He just survived, and it worked out for him because if he would have got knocked out, he probably doesn't get this title shot. So they're giving him another chance because I don't know what the hell it is at 135. Like at 135, nobody should be fighting for a belt like that twice in a row, unless it's like Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach deserves his rematch with Tank, but it's such a stacked division. Like I would literally argue that probably over the last 30 years, I think this lightweight division is the best division I've ever seen in the last 30 years with all these names out there. And like the pick for this fight is very simple. Keyshawn Davis is on, I have a list of fighters who I'm not betting against until they fight each other. So if you're on my list, De Los Santos is not on that list. Keyshawn Davis is. So Keyshawn Davis, if you're not fighting Alan Cruz, Raymond Muratalla, Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, Abdullah Mason, I think Carmel Mutan's in that division now. Like I know he's young, but just like guys like that, like it, if you're not in that group, like I'm not going to pick anybody from the outside to beat you. So I'm not going to pick De Los Santos to win this fight. If he does, it'll probably be by knockout. He'll have to probably catch Keyshawn early within like the first 3 or 4 rounds. But I think Keyshawn just plays this easy. I think he wins an easy decision here. I think this is going to be kind of like the Shakur fight, even though Davis has shown in the last few fights he can crack. But you can't take risks at this level. And at this point in your career, just don't take risks if you're Keyshawn Davis. Win an easy, boring decision. Let people call you, boring or whatever. Just keep winning until you get up to fight these guys. Like if you get into fight Tank Davis and you beat him the same way that you beat, De Los Santos, if you win a boring fight or whatever against Tank Davis, nobody's going to give a shit how boring you are because you just beat Tank Davis. So just keep winning these fights and, just get to that next step. And Davis, Davis is, he's got potential to be like a great fighter. He's got a potential to be like I'm talking future Hall of Famer. He really does, and I saw this in this guy since he was like I think I started watching him when he was like 4 or 5-0, and just like the talent's there. Like sometimes it doesn't work out for certain guys. He's in a really tough weight class, but he's going to get his opportunity to become an all-time great fighter because of those guys that are in his weight class. I don't know how many of those top guys I would favor him against, but like he can beat any of them. I'm just going to put it like that. Like I would definitely favor Shakur over him, but he can beat guys like he can beat Tank Davis. I really hope that fight happens because of the whole Virginia DC. That'd be an awesome fight, but like there's not much to break down in this fight. It's just uh, Keyshawn's going to dominate early, and I don't see De Los Santos being able to win rounds. And he's going to realize real early. Plus, like Keyshawn Davis has a lot more power than Shakur Stevenson. So if he wouldn't go after Shakur, even though Shakur is very tricky to hit, maybe he was confused in there or whatever. But if you're not going after Shakur Stevenson, and I'm not saying he's worried about his power, but like you got to go get him. If he wouldn't go get Shakur Stevenson, what makes you think he's going to go get Keyshawn Davis? Keyshawn Davis is a little easier to hit, but Keyshawn can crack. And if you open yourself up, Keyshawn will knock you out. So this is just either Keyshawn by late stoppage or Keyshawn by decision. But just give me Keyshawn by decision and a pretty easy one. I'm gonna say like literally like 11 rounds to one, 10 to 2, something like that. If De Los Santos wins rounds, it's gonna be early rounds where Keyshawn is just playing it safe and trying not to get knocked out. And then he will use his boxing ability. I mean, he's got Bomac in his corner. He's got the Olympic pedigree. He's just going to outbox this guy, and it's going to be a pretty easy win for him. The only thing is, like, I don't like the value on him, you know, but he's going to win the fight. Like, he's all the way up to like minus minus 1100 or something like that now. I mean, I got him at minus 650 because I bet him a couple weeks ago. I do a lot of these parlays and I set them up for like, weeks and months. Like I carry all the fights over and Keyshawn's on a lot of my parlays. So I don't have to bet him at 1100. And if I can give you guys any advice for as far as gambling, like if you guys like betting favorites and you see guys like I bet Nakatani a couple weeks ago at minus 600, he's all the way up to minus 1200 now. His odds literally doubled. I still think there's value there on him at minus 1200. But now you got to start thinking about props, and you got to try to get them down to Nakatani by knockout, or Keyshawn Davis. Like the value's almost not there on him at minus like 1100. But I just still think he's going to win the fight. But I'm not a guy that bets, you know, uh, outcomes of the fight, like Keyshawn has to win by decision or Keyshawn by KO or the over under in fights. I don't mess around with none of that stuff because Keyshawn could have a game plan to just, like I said, just hey man, just keep it easy and win. If this guy wants to beat me, he's gonna have to knock me out or he's gonna have to win rounds, and I don't think he can win rounds. So if he tries to come and knock me out, I'm gonna play it safe and just outbox him. And there's so many components that go into um, these fights and what these fighters are thinking that nobody knows. So I don't like to sit there. It happened like a couple of weeks ago with like Dalton Smith and his fight. Like you look at the fight, it's a complete mismatch. You knew he would just dominate the guy, and you would think he could knock him out, which I'm sure he could, but he didn't. Like because he can't afford to lose a fight right now. And then when he doesn't knock him out, everyone's like, "Oh, he couldn't even knock this guy out." He didn't really try to knock the guy out. He got in his rounds and he won a very easy fight, and like people are mad at him for winning pretty much every round in a 12-round fight or whatever. Like like just bet these guys to win. Whoever you think's going to win the fight, just bet these guys to win. If you want to get your odds up, throw a bunch of these. Like I'm watching the Thursday night card right now. Like Albert Ramirez is about to fight. Like he's minus 3300. Throw him on parlays. Throw him a bunch of these uh minus 20 minus 20 hundreds, like 20 to 1 favorites, 15 to 1 favorites, 25 to 1. Throw them all on parlays with guys like Keyshawn, and then get Keyshawn from minus 1,000 down to like minus 650 or something like that. And that's just what I do every week, and it works like a charm, except for last week with Caleb Plant. But I mean, it works. So I like I said, I don't like betting. The method of victory, it's called, but like I don't like doing that, and I don't like doing it in MMA either. But Keyshawn Davis is the play here. It's a pretty easy play. Like I said, until he fights a guy like one of those top guys, which I just think De Los Santos, like there's that group A, all those fighters at 135. I just think De Los Santos is a group like B plus or something like that. But he's not in the group, so I'm not picking him. It's just that simple. And just fire Keyshawn Davis. I don't care how you do it, but I would recommend just throwing him in parlays. Don't bet him, minus 1100, on the money line naked like that. Just throw him on a bunch of there's got to be like 75 fights to bet this week. There's like 6 cards on. Like just throw a bunch of those heavy favorites in a parlay, get Keyshawn down, and just fire it that way. But Keyshawn Davis by easy decision here. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys think Dos Santos got a shot, let me know who you think Keyshawn Davis should fight next. Um, so I mean, there's just so many names out there at 135. I know people are calling for the Cruz fight because Cruz has a fight coming up within the next month or two, also. So that might line up good. I mean, Cruz is still a little young in his career. I don't think he's ready for a guy like Keyshawn, but like that's the fight that everybody wants because of the history they have in the amateurs. Be a great fight to see. But we got to get some of these guys at 135 to start fighting each other, and I think it starts after after this little round of Davis fighting Roach, Shakur and Zapata, uh, Davis, and if he fights Cruz, maybe that's the start of things. That the ball's going to start rolling at 135, and it's the most exciting division in boxing. I've been saying it for the last like 2 years, and I don't even think it's close. Unless all these fighters start moving up and stuff like that, maybe something can change. But right now, it's all about 135, and Keyshawn is arguably the best 135 pounder in the world. Like I said, I don't think he's better than Shakur Stevenson, but you could definitely argue the fact that Keyshawn's the best. So just keep on the winning ways, Keyshawn. And yeah, that's it. Guys, have a good night.